this video, you're going to need a fork or some type of mixing tool, cornstarch, a type of measuring tool, a bowl or Tupperware, and water. Step 1. Get your bowl or Tupperware. Step 1. Get your cornstarch and measuring tool out. Okay, so I cut out all the part where I actually measured the cornstarch, but I used 4 tablespoons to equal 1/4. So now I'm going to add the water. Okay, I also cut out the part where I added the water, but you should have something looking a little like this mixture. So now we're just gonna start mixing it. See, when you start mixing it, it should begin to feel a little bit chunky and hard to mix, like this. It almost looks like cottage cheese, if cottage cheese were a rock. Now, if you feel like it's too hard and there's a lot of corn flour still in it, then you can add a little bit more water, like I'm about to do. All right, I added a little bit more water. Now we're just gonna keep on mixing. All right, see how it's starting to turn into this little chunky kind of mixture looking thing. This chunky looking thing. That is how it's supposed to be. Let me adjust the camera. All right, there. It almost looks like chunky milk. Chunky milk. No, if you see that means that you're going in the right direction. It's working. The Oobleck is starting to work. And we're just gonna keep on mixing. Also, if it feels a little too liquidy, then you could also add more cornstarch, like I just did here. Now, when you're done mixing, it should look a little bit like this, kind of like glue almost. And it should be like hard to move almost. Extremely hard to move, actually. Pretty difficult. I'm struggling right now. Now, here, let's try something. Scoop a little bit of it up. Scoop it up with your mixing tool, and then see that kind of drips down. Let's scoop some of it up. Pick it up. You saw first. Did you see? Did you see it? Look. Look, here. For a second there, it like turned into a solid almost. Like a solid, right? Like right there. Right there. Did you see it? Here, let me play it in slow-mo. Alright, I have taken some precautions because this might get on my fingers, but I forgot to mention the step where you can add food coloring to your Oobleck, which I think I'm gonna do now. Let's get out a color. I'm gonna use purple. Now, traditionally you should add the food coloring to the water, but I forgot this step, so we're just gonna do it after. 1, 2. That should be enough for now. Now let's mix. Oh, that's not good. Alright, I'm gonna cut it here and then get back to you guys when it's done. Alright, I finished mixing, and this is what the finished product looks like. Now, we are going to do one more test. Also, I added a little bit more water because it was like too solid and it was too hard to mix. But we're going to do one last final test. Alright, the final test. Now, you may be asking, what are you gonna do? Hey, Disastrous, what are you gonna do? What's the final test? That. Look again. Normally, if this were a liquid, it would just... Look at that. It's just running off my gloves. You could squeeze it all you want. You could squeeze it, and then it'll just melt. It'll turn back into a liquid. Look. Look again. I'm going to grab a big glob of this stuff, squeeze it. So you notice some of the liquid does seep out, but when you try to take it off, it becomes a solid, but then it begins to melt. It's pretty cool, ain't it?
I'm